One of my favorite interviews of all time was with the great, now late Jack Welch. Jack grew GE's market value from $12 billion in 1981 to $410 billion, a growth value of over 4,000% when he retired 20 years later. But all of that might not have been if he hadn't had an emotionally intelligent leader when he was still an up-and-comer. In 1963, when Welch was still in his mid-20s, he was the manufacturing head of a pilot plant producing a new plastic. After only working a short time at GE after earning his PhD, he was sitting at his office across from the plant, when the one he was responsible for, when he heard a huge explosion. When he looked out his window, he saw massive pillows of smoke. The roof was blown completely off and destroyed, and there was shattered glass everywhere. Incredibly, nobody was hurt. He was called to New York to meet with his boss. He said that drive was the longest ride of his career. Welch was preparing himself mentally for the worst. He thought for sure that he was going to be fired. But instead of being raked over the coals, Welch said his boss calmly asked him what had happened, and he asked him if he knew how to fix it. Here's how Welch articulated what happened. He said, "He took the Socratic method with me and did an incredible job of engaging me in learning about what I had done wrong in the process." He said, "I learned something very valuable that day. I learned to never kick anybody when they're down. It is not if a mistake will be made. It is instead, will you own up to it? And do you know how to fix it? If so, mistakes are forgivable. Lack of accountability, not being solution-oriented, that is not forgivable." Instead of firing Welch, the boss was empathetic, and he turned an expensive mistake into both a lesson for Welch and an opportunity for GE to innovate. In the end, the failed project resulted in a better product than GE's risk-averse competitors. And the boss successfully groomed the emotional intelligence of what would become one of the greatest business icons of the century. Later, when Welch was CEO, a division of his company invested $20 to $40 million on the development of a long-life light bulb. Jack said it was perfect for the new environmental movement. It was energy efficient, it was long-lasting, but it was before its time. It was expensive, costing $10.95 each, and the project fell under its own weight and it had to be shut down. Welch, instead of rolling heads and criticizing the $20 to $40 million failure for the executives that led it, he instead threw the 74 executives who were part of that project a party, a dance. They held a big dance and he gave them all VCRs as a gift, back when that was a thing. They celebrated, as Jack put it, quote, "a great idea, well executed, too early." He said the best thing about that was they told that story 10,000 times to serve as an example, to not be risk averse. He said, "We wanted to ingrain in our culture that you can try something and miss and still be considered a hero." Jack learned that the one thing that can kill a culture of innovation is the F word, fear. That emotional intelligence that he learned from his boss in his mid-20s made the 4,000%, $398 billion growth that Jack led later possible. In the 21st century, the skills you need to be successful are constantly changing. What you are doing now and how you are doing it now, you probably didn't even do just a few years ago. Am I right? I mean, think about it. But the one constant through it all, now and forever, will be EQ, knowing how to relate, motivate, and influence others. An exhaustive study from the Leadership Center for Creative Leadership has proven that 75% of business or careers are derailed for reasons related to emotional competencies, including the inability to handle interpersonal problems, unsatisfactory team leadership during times of difficulty or conflict, or the inability to adapt to change or engender trust. In other words, this is make or break stuff. Now, here's your challenge as a leader. Where do you learn EQ? Most every training program out there falls short. Why? Because they are training skills, they're training capabilities, they're training competencies, and never getting to the root of the issues, the cause of action or inaction. They never address the emotions, the motives, the drives, and impulses under behavior. They don't address why people do what they do or not do what they should do. Why do people not follow through when they promise that they would? Why do people have conflict with certain people and not others? Why don't people perform to the potential that you know that they have? You see, all those factors are factors of emotional intelligence, not intellectual capacity. This is why you see intellectual geniuses end up broke, lonely, and destitute. And people who are, let's say, not necessarily mental giants, end up incredibly successful and powerfully influential. Learning to become an emotionally intelligent leader is what the Hero's Journey curriculum is built around. How to enroll others into your mission, into your cause, into your goals. How to build a culture of fearless innovation. How to create creative collaboration with diverse generations, diverse genders, ethnic groups, and global contributors. It doesn't matter whether you are a leader of an enterprise, a family, a church group, or a peer circle, or a player inside one of those human organizations. Learning to grow your emotional intelligence will be the most important skill in this new world. I invite you to join us on this epic learning adventure. We will be taking together to develop you into a modern leader and a positive influence to all around you. So tell us, and take out your Darren Daily Journal. When did a leader demonstrate great EQ by showing you some grace and empathy when you failed or made a mistake? I'd love to hear your real-world situations and stories. Write down some notes in your Darren Daily Journal and then share that with us in the comments below.
I am excited that I get to be a part of the Hero's Journey.
And I had to say yes.
I am so excited.
I couldn't register fast enough.
I am beyond excited for the Hero's Journey.
I'm really excited about the Hero's Journey.
I chose to take the Hero's Journey with Darren Hardy.
I am so excited about the Hero's Journey program.
I am super excited about Hero's Journey.